Hey everyone, so today we're taking a look at the Curse Collection mod. This is one of the collection mods that's part of the collection, and it is probably the best one that has been released so far. Inside the Curse Collection mod, there are 2 trinkets, 3 active items, and 13 passive items. On top of that, 6 new curses that completely changed the game and really just add a ton of interesting, unique, and fun mechanic. One thing about the passives, there are 3 familiar collectibles, and this mod does have sewing machine mod support. I did not show it off in this video because it did slip my mind, but if you want to check out the sewing machine mod and all the upgrades for the familiars, you can check the description below to get the collection. But anyway, let's get into the video. Alright, so the first item we're going to be taking a look at is Siren's Call. It is a 2 quality passive item that is found in the item room. The item upon pickup gives you 1 familiar like the Soul of Lilith, and it'll spawn a familiar and taking damage on top of that. So as you see, every time we take damage from any source, we get a familiar that is outlined in red. Now these familiars only last the room, so the item can be strong if you have some sort of build that is hurting yourself, or even with Dull Razor could be pretty good. So if you get Dull Razor once every 2 rooms, you're basically getting an extra familiar, which it's not the strongest thing in the world, but A, it's really cool, because I like how the temporary familiars aren't just familiars that you have no idea which one's temporary. He added a custom texture to them with the outline, so I do enjoy that. Overall, really cool item. So next up is Anathema. This item is found in the Curse Room and Devil Room pool in both Greed mode and normal mode. It is quality 3. Upon pickup, it grants you a 1.8 times damage multiplier, but will guarantee a curse every floor. And with the added curses in this mod, that can get pretty hectic pretty fast. Every floor from now on, we will have a curse. Here we are on stage 2, still have a curse. Up to stage 4, still a curse. 5, 6, and you see, on all these floors, we're guaranteed to have a curse because of this item, but the damage multiplier is huge, and I think I would take it pretty much every time. Next up, we have Do Not Touch. It is a 4 quality item that spawns in item rooms only, and it is really darn cool and actually pretty strong. So upon entering a random room, now we do have debug turned on, so like it kind of did the job for us, but a red button can spawn, and these red buttons will function as normal, meaning stepping on them will just kill everything. It does not spawn in special rooms, so you're not going to be able to get a challenge room and cheese a wave with that. You're not going to be able to get a boss room and kill the boss, but you get free room clears for a long time. I don't even think I need to explain how good that is. Moving on, next up is Pentacle. Pentacle is pretty not overpowered, but in certain situations going to be really strong for you, and it's only a quality 1. What this item does is every time you pick up an item, you have a 60% chance to spawn an item wisp of that type. So for Conehead here, we now have a backup Conehead. What does that do for us? I mean, with Conehead, not much, but you know, some items do stack when you get multiple, and if you get those with this item, you're going to be in for a fun time. Next up, we have Fettered Heart, which is found in the item rooms and devil rooms. Upon pickup, this will make it so anytime you fight an enemy, there's a chance that they spawn with a chain above their head. Any enemy that spawns with a chain is considered fettered, and fettered enemies will actually deal damage to other enemies when you kill them. So as you saw there, just from killing this one enemy, we managed to kill the entire room. It is a bit scary because much like Death's List, you're going to be targeting a certain enemy. You're going to be out of your way, running around the room in ways you typically wouldn't, which could get you hit, but even if you don't target an enemy, it's still just going to be free damage, so overall, really cool and really fun for room clear. Alright, next up is one of my favorite items from this mod, Secretion. It is exclusively found in the item room and only a quality 2, which I'm just saying I think this should at least be a quality 3. It's like Brimstone. It's significantly worse than Brimstone, do not get me wrong, but just from the sound effect alone, I would love having this item in a run. It is really cool. And in case you're wondering, yes, it does stack with tier effects. When it comes to other items like Brimstone, however, that completely change your tier, it does not stack. Same goes for Mom's Knife as well. However, like most items that try not to be too broken by not allowing you to synergize with Brimstone and stuff, of course it synergizes with the Hemolacra routines, we can have some fun with this one. Oh, you know, it's just a normal day with your Brimstone Hemolacra run, and then you do this. And then you do that. Hemolacra is the best item in the game. Alright, next on the list we have Reveneer, which is a 3 quality item that is found in item rooms and I believe Preyn games. It's really cool. I mean, first of all, the costume for it looks sick, and second of all, upon use, you will charge up, and then when you let go, you do the sound effect, you know, the classic sound effect, and then you release a circle of fire. It's pretty darn good. Strength-wise, it's actually not... I still think Secretion is stronger, actually, just because, it seems like the fire, because of how fast it spins, it's not hitting things as much as you would like. However, naturally, this does not make the item bad by any stretch of the imagination, especially if you were to, like, corner an enemy there where you saw all that fire was. It can be pretty damn good. And in case you're wondering if the item stacks with damage, yes, it does. Next up is Reverse of the Tower, which has one of the best item names I've ever heard, by the way. First, the tower grants Curse of Creation, which we will be covering more in detail later. However, basically it makes rocks respawn. And on top of that, makes rocks spawn when taking damage. Also, this item is a quality 0 found in the item room, curse room, and red chest pool. So, upon taking damage, pretty darn cool, right? It'll obviously try to leave the path for you, but the important part is the Curse of Creation. So every time you bomb anything, it has a chance to do that, and apparently we teleport. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I don't know why we teleport. So the thing that is really strong about this is because any rock has a chance to come back. Oh my god, I guess the curse also teleports you. Because any rock has a chance to come back. Anything like soul rocks, pots, anything like that, you can get multiple times, which could be super, like, game-changing completely. I think this item deserves to be a higher quality than quality 0. Papyrus Rags is a 2-quality item found in the item room pool. Every third room that you fight in, you will use a random book, and on top of that, every boss fight you enter, you will use a random book. This is an item that is either going to help a ton due to good RNG or not help at all. Like, if you keep getting Book of Secrets every time you walk into that boss fight, you're not gonna be, like, praising this item for the absolute godsend that it is, but as you see here, he's Book of the Dead, and I also did think it was combat room, but it turns out it is just any room, so something like Book of Secrets, which I just mentioned, well, it'd be bad to get entering in boss room. You could get it just any room while you're exploring, and then that could definitely help you. But on top of that, you have stuff like Book of the Dead, Book of Belial, Book of Revelations. This is going to be a health generation, random damage, random mapping. Overall, really cool, pretty solid. It's not going to completely change your run unless you're low on damage and keep getting lucky with those Book of Belials, or you're low on health and you keep getting lucky with Soul Hearts, but it'll always be there sort of supporting from the sidelines, and I definitely respect that. Alright, so next up is Veil of Darkness. Veil of Darkness is a 4-quality item that can be found in Devil Deals and Curse Room. Upon pickup, it'll grant the Curse of Blight, give you 3 black hearts, a 0.5 damage up, and give you one of the following items that you can see in the top left corner. Once again, like all the other curses, we will be going over them at the end, so if you want to know what the curse does, you can wait till then, but basically, the item is pretty self-explanatory, right? It gives you some stats, it gives you some soul hearts, and then gives you a random item. The item is really cool, however, once again, on top of that, you do get Curse of Blight, and if you want to see what that does, just stick around till the end. Alright, next up we got Soul Cleaver. I couldn't exactly tell you why Soul Cleaver doesn't have a pop-up, so we will show you the effects in Encyclopedia. Alright, so Soul Cleaver is a 2-quality active item that is found in the item room. When used, what it'll do is split apart any item pedestals that you see and grant you 2 wisps of that type. On top of the 2 wisps, it'll grant you 1 random wisp, and if the item cannot be turned into wisps, which some items just aren't able to be wisps, you can't get through them again, you can't get them through anywhere, it'll just give you 3 random wisps instead. Alright, so if you see black hole, you know black hole can't become a wisp. How would it even work as a wisp? So when we cut this in half, what will happen is, well, I thought we would get 3 random wisps because it is what it says. However, but very simply, we do not. I couldn't fully tell you why. I'm also not that smart, so it's probably something obvious that I overlooked, but here we have Spoonbender. When we cut it in half, we will get 2 Spoonbender wisps, and on top of that, 1 random one as well. Overall, it's not the strongest item in the game. However, having 2 copies of something can be really useful, as we've talked about early on. So if you have something like Brimstone, you can take Brimstone and cut it in half. This will give you 2 copies of Brimstone, so you actually do have Mega Brim. It's a bit sketchy because you know that it could break at any time. However, if you play safe enough, you can keep the wisps for a long time, or maybe even an entire run. So if you really want to see Mega Brim, here you go. Alright, next up we have a 2-quality active item that is in the Curse Room and item room pool. It does nothing initially on pickup, but every time you use it, you get a lot of stats, okay? And that's obviously really good. However, if you notice in the top right corner, we have a curse. And every time you use it, you will get a curse for the floor. Now, something fun about this item is if you use it when you have Black Candle, isn't that hilarious? Isn't that... I absolutely love that attention to detail. When you're making a mod about curses, you know Black Candle's in the game. As the mod creator put it, when you use with Black Candle, it'll give it a proper burial. But as you see, you can use it a limited time per floor, and then after that, all it starts doing is re-rolling curses. So one of the curses will be replaced with another one, and you do not get the stat up. However, look at our stats. 3.75 rate of fire, 6 damage, 6 range, 1 shot speed, 4.5 luck, 1.12 speed. We have a really solid run going. Was it at the cost of some curses? Yeah, but at the same time, if you're downloading the Curse Collection mod, I'm going to assume you're fine with getting some cool looking curses. Alright, and next up is another act. This is a 4-quality active item that is found in the Curse Room and the item room. Upon use, it will give you half a black card. That's not even bad. Okay, think about it. That's 8 rooms for a black card. Kind of like a slightly worse Satanic Bible. However, on top of that, it'll actually re-roll your active curse. So if you see in the top right, we have Curse of exclamation point. And every time we use this curse will change. On top of changing, it'll, you know, it'll give you a heart. So You get some health generation on top of that, a way to get around curses. Now, it is a bit of a weird thing to micro, because what happens when you get a curse you're not, like, sad about? Do you want to reroll the curse if there's something worse for health, or do you not want? Overall, I'm a big fan of this item. I think it plays into the curse theme of the mod very well, and genuinely think it's something that if I saw in a run, I'd be super happy to pick up. Alright, and next up is Chained Spiky, who is a 2-quality familiar found in the item room. Overall, let me just tell you, I love this little dude. I mean, come on. Like, he's not the strongest thing in the world, because obviously anything outside of here, he's not going to be able to touch. But A, it looks sick. B, it's just really, really, really cool, and it doesn't even do bad damage. However, in rooms with no rocks, he leaves you alone for some other man, and it's a very sad world. Alright, and next up is another familiar, Little Heretic, who is a 2-quality item found in the item rooms. He's kind of like a Little Haunt, but like a Little Haunt plus a laser. On top of that, he doesn't fear enemies, he will weaken the enemies. So weakened enemies are much easier to kill. I mean, they are weakened, right? So he gives you an easier time killing enemies and connects a laser like that one trinket that I forget the name of. Overall, I'm super happy with him. I think he's really cute. I think he's really fun. He's not overpowered, but most familiars aren't, and that's totally fine. He's a familiar that if you got on a run, you would never be like, oh damn, I'm so sad, my familiar sucks. No, you would just be happy to see his cute little face. Alright, and following the familiar trend, we have Mended Knife, which, I mean, listen, I'm not even gonna go into detail. It's the knife. And can I tell you something? I actually wanted this so bad, okay? Because whenever you're going to the, whenever you're going to the mother floor, and you have this knife, it's always, like, pretty damn strong. And then you'll leave, and because you open the door and it's gone forever, and it always sucks another knife leaves you. So having a knife in a game as a pickup that you can just grab, it can't open the door. It's just a familiar that hurts things, and I'm super happy about that. And that, everyone, is all of the items, active items, passive items, familiars that are in this mod. Overall, super duper uber cool. It is fantastic. I love it. Every item in this is just really fun, really cool, really creative. The art's super good. Sound design is always on point and amazing. Genuinely, props to you. Props to Preyn. One of those two names is probably right, but I'm going to link his, the collections collection in the description below. That is the collection of all of his collection mods, so you can get any of them, including this one. However, we do have one last thing to go over, and it is the curses. Alright, so first up is Curse of Blight. Curse of Blight kind of acts like a Curse of the Unknown, I believe, is the one that hides the items, where it'll hide the items in a veil of darkness. Upon pickup, I don't notice anything different in terms of, like, something bad happening, so it may just be the visual effect. So it's sort of like a toned down Curse of the Blind, I think it is, where if you look at the item, you can kind of make out what it is, and you can try your hardest. It's definitely less annoying than Curse of the Blind, because Curse of the Blind, you're taking wild yet. With Curse of Blight, you're still actually making choices and thinking about it. So Curse of Blight is definitely a cool curse, and I do love the visual effect on the item pedestals. Alrighty, and next up is Curse of Conquest. So with Curse of Conquest, basically, as you see here, you're going to get way more champions, and there is like a sort of cool visual effect that goes on before it happens. And on top of this, enemies spawned by other enemies can be champions. So if you have anything that spawns Trites, for instance, you can get champion Trites, which is a nightmare and doesn't sound very fun to deal with. But at the same time, I like that it's a little bit more involved than just more champions, because it is. That's what it is. It's more champions, but he went out of his way to make sure there was more going on. Like, you see the skull that appears for them, you hear the sound cue, you know that the champion was spawned because of the curse. That way you know it's not just like, man, I'm getting a lot of champions. It's like, okay, this curse is really screwing me over. And I think that little touch definitely adds a ton, and overall, this seems like a fun curse for sure. Alright, and next up is Curse of Rebirth. Curse of Rebirth is definitely a super annoying one, and they're curses, so whenever I call anything super annoying, just know that's like giving props to the mod creator. As you saw right there, upon death, enemies do have a chance to respawn. There are some rooms where this is going to completely screw you over, and just in case you're curious, if the enemy is a champion, it will come back to the champion. So no giving away the champion fights. It's really cool. I actually really, really like this curse. Alright, so this one is a bit hard to show off, but basically what this curse is it's Curse of Famine. Pretty much every consumable that can spawn will be halved. So if you get a full heart, it'll spawn as a half heart. Double packs such as double keys, double hearts, double bombs, all those things will spawn as singles, and batteries spawn as tiny batteries. Once again, it is a bit hard to show off. I tried seeing if just spawning in double hearts and hearts would work. It does not work. You would have to actually get the item as a drop, so it would be hard to showcase, but I'm going to go attempt to find a room that works like that now. As you see here from Gluttony, we only got half hearts. I don't know if this was because of the curse or just a natural occurrence. I have no idea if there is an animation for it, but that is how the curse functions. And if you would like to know whether or not there's an animation and test it yourself, links in the description. Alright, I actually did get it to work there, as you saw. That was Curse of Famine working. It did have an animation. That was completely accidental. I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking for a different curse. Thought this was that one, and then, kept going. So there you go. That's Curse of Famine. This was supposed to be a double bomb spawn, but you only got one. Pretty cool. So I'm looking for a certain curse now. It's called Curse of Decay. On the mod page, this is not the symbol for it, but I'm gonna assume this is. What it does is basically any consumable that is dropped on the ground will despawn after a certain amount of seconds. Now the thing is, it doesn't happen to every consumable in the entire game. It just has a chance to happen. So I'm gonna try to get this to proc. All right, so here's this penny. This penny, if we want to get to it, we'll have to bomb. But by the time we bombed, it was already gone because it had a timeout. So that's great, super fun, super amazing. I think it's gonna really hurt you. Like, it's gonna physically hurt when you miss one of those consumables, and that's kind of the point of curses. So I'm on board for that. All right, and the last curse is one we've already touched on a little, which is Curse of Creation. So with Curse of Creation, what happens is when you break rocks, they have a chance to respawn, including pots, including tinted rocks, including any rock in the game. So this can be used for awesome money farming. If you have a golden bomb and a Curse of Creation floor, that's fantastic. I can't see how this would really hurt you. It doesn't even feel like a curse. This feels like a blessing. However, I guess if you're trying to bomb into somewhere and it keeps respawning, you're gonna get pretty angry. So I can imagine that. But overall, it just seems super fun. It seems like the kind of thing that I would have fun min-maxing with a golden bomb, right? I would sit here all day just to do this on repeat. I love it. I love it. At the end of the day, all the curses are really fun. I mean, Curse of Blight, I'm still not 100% certain on. I feel like it does more because all it is a Curse of the Unknown, but even if that is all it does, just because of how good it looks, that it's good enough for me. I mean, the design is really cool, so I'll take it. All right, and to finish things off, we do have two trinkets, Amalgamation and Sewn Bond. Amalgamation is pretty simple. When you pick it up, it gets gulped immediately, and then from there, every trinket does have a 50% chance to get gulped one pickup. And the last trinket and the last thing that I have to show off for this mod today is Sewn Bond. Basically, it means familiar shared their tier effects with the player. You know, do you understand how absolutely amazing that is? Just to show off like normal, Brother Bobby can get Hemolacria. Brother Bobby cannot get Brimstone or anything that changes your tiers. This is how all the tier effect ones work, because these are tier modifiers, not tier effects. However, I think we can make Brother Bobby pretty fun. So, this is our new Brother Bobby. I'm personally a big fan. I like him a lot. He seems like a ton of fun. Overall, it just makes it so familiar sort of act like Incubus in a way, right? Where they can get all your tier effects. And that's a really good, really fun, really amazing thing. I think it's one of the strongest trinkets in the game situationally. I mean, situationally for sure, but still, it's amazing. But yeah, that is it. That is all 6 curses. That is all the items. That is all the trinkets, I believe. If there's anything I missed, please let me know in the comments below. Overall, I know I say this a lot, but this is my favorite collection mod. This one has so many cool things. They all have a lot of cool things, but come on, this one is, it's so cool. It's just so freaking cool. I look forward to using this in Overly Modded, and I really look forward to getting these items in my run. I think it's going to be a great time, and thank you, Preyn or Preyn. I'm still bad at pronouncing names, and I do deeply apologize. It's a reoccurring problem, but thank you for making this mod. Thank you for making all your other collection mods. I have a blast playing them and recording them and reviewing them. They're fantastic. The one thing I would change about this mod is, I'm just saying Brother Bobby should be able to shoot Brimstone normally. Okay, listen, I get it's broken, but come on, it would be so cool. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you please, and I'll see you next time.